Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Tonight's stream is kind of like a spudathon and a high pass show crossover. It's the first time I've done this. I've got to remember the camera's there, not there. So yeah, I'm going to break down 2 Space Potato songs for you, and I'm also going to introduce you to a new thing that I've been working on called DAWHUB, DAWHUB. DAW meaning a digital audio workstation, and hub meaning a place where things sort of come together, I suppose. So that's DAWHUB.com. I'll be showing you that in a bit, but first let's pop over to the Cubase window. And like usual with high pass shows, I'm going to play you the whole song. I'm going to mute my mic and play you the whole song. The first song we're going to start with is Staying In. Please comment, please say hello. I'd like to be social on this stream. So if you're watching, please say hello. I'm going to play the first song that I'm going to be sort of showing the mix of. This is called Staying In by Space Potatoes. If you want to pre-order the album, please go to 2020rendezvous.com. This isn't like so much of a fundraiser as the Spudathons are. This is just a mix breakdown video, but that doesn't mean you can't go to 2020rendezvous.com and pre-order the album. Hi, Bex, how you doing? First person to comment. Nice to hear from you. Hello, Noel, how you doing? Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just mute my microphone and play Staying In by Space Potatoes. Here we go. So that is Staying In There by Space Potatoes. And I've got some comments here. So, Hello Gage, hello Anne, hello Bex again, hello Connor, hello Mike, hello Nigel. Connor says, I like this, it's got a slight late 90s Britpop feel. Yes, I'll talk about that in a second. Hello Sharon, hello Nigel, hello Christine, hello Neil. You said, Nigel says, what's the first track that looks like there's just automation? I'm assuming it's this one here. I'll go through that in a second. So yeah, the reason it's got a late 90s Britpop feel is because me and Chris and Ricky and my friend Sean and some others involved are making a film about a fictional band called Space Potatoes, who are off the road due to the pandemic. Go to 2020rendezvous.com and you can see the trailer and all that. Wait till we finish this stream. Yeah, this is I'm going to be showing 2 of the songs from the soundtrack of the film and doing the mix breakdowns here. So the way this song started, this is one of my songs. I'm showing 2 songs tonight, one of which is mine and one of which is Chris's, to try and keep things fair. And also I think they're good songs. I enjoy both of the songs. So the way this started is I wanted to do a parody of a song called Going Out by Supergrass, which is why this is called Staying In, because it's like the opposite of Going Out. 1 second. Yes, here we go. So Ricky, hello Ricky, how you doing? Connor says, when are we going to get another kebab? We're in lockdown, mate. I'd love to. Wolfgang says, looks like another vote recount spreadsheet. No, it looks like Cubase to me, but yes, very funny. Right, so the way I started this track out, because the main driving thing behind Going Out is the Hammond. To me, anyway, that's the most important thing. So basically, I came up with a Hammond thing that sounded a bit like Going Out, different keys, slightly different chords, and I used the IK Multimedia Hammond B3X plugin to get the Hammond sound, which is loading at the moment. It's one thing I found. IK Multimedia makes some great plugins, but when you click to open them, they do take some time. So yeah, this is the settings on the Hammond. I've got the drawbars where I wanted them. Make sure there was some key click on it. I did some EQ, sort of did the EQ pedal before it got to the virtual cab. I've got it set up in a 180 Leslie setting to make it really, really wide. And I pushed the gain a little bit, and I've mixed in the Leslie and a little bit of the DI of the Hammond as well. And that sounds like this. So this is kind of how I started the song. Skip that a bit. And then after doing that, I whacked in some piano, which you can hear. And then sort of did a chorus as well, which was kind of a little bit like Moving, the Supergrass song Moving. Well, at least when the vocals come in, it's more like Moving. So really, this was one of the only ones that was started with keyboards rather than sort of guitar or anything else like that. So once I had the sort of the Hammond and the piano basis, I kind of copied it over the track. I can't say I played the whole thing through. I think I copied that bit to some other places, and then I programmed some drums. And for the drums, I used the IK Multimedia Modo drums, which sounds awesome, and I loaded up their 90s rock kit and then made some tweaks and then saved that as a setting, which is pretty much used on all the songs, I think. And the drum sounds are... I think they're pretty good for programmed drums anyway. So, first I was working entirely with just the MIDI instruments, and then to get the feel of Supergrass in, I put a tempo map in and basically drew a line, making it just speed up as it went through. So all of this stuff up here all of this stuff up here that Nigel Reese said, what's that first track that looks like automation? That's actually the tempo track. And then what I did is I kind of slowed it down for certain bits of fills and then brought it back up. So I was just... and then it kind of speeds back up again. So I'm trying to get that human feel of where it's speeding up but then pulling back for the fills. So once I'd got that down, I then put the shaker and tambourine over it using the Shareen library that works in Contact. And then I was ready to whack a bass on it. Once I was happy with all the MIDI side of it, I whacked a bass on it. Now the bass I used, let's pull up the plugin. I used Amplitude 4, which had a very sort of 90s type bass amp simulator, the Trace Elliott simulator, and I've got a mic on a virtual mic on the cab, and mixed in a bit of the DI as well, so you get this kind of filthy bass sound. So the thing about this that I want to say that's different to a lot of other songs I've done where I've been sort of mixing or producing, and I've done other videos before, is this kind of breaks every rule that I've discussed where in previous videos I've been trying to put things in their correct frequency ranges and split the bass. I've got a sub channel and a top channel, and actually with this I've done none of that at all. What I did was just plug in a guitar, plug in a bass, play a bit of keyboard, just whack it down and kind of put it in, and it sounded good. It sounded vibey. I wanted to keep that kind of 90s sound because that's what we're parodying, and a lot of stuff was pretty raw back then. You know, a lot of these indie bands didn't have huge production budgets and whatever, and a lot of stuff was just thrown together. And this whole album, not that I'm taking anything away from it by saying it's been thrown together, but it really has been thrown together more than anything else I've done. And it's got a really nice vibe to it for that. I did 2 guitar tracks, which were done through, Amplitude. And I used kind of a basic Marshall setting with cab and a couple of virtual mics and a little bit of room. I also played the guitars using my pedal board, so I had my Marshall Governor pedal in there. So one of the guitars was done with my Telecaster on the humbucker, and then the other one I'd rolled it back to single coil to kind of give them a slightly different sound. And then finally, once I'd kind of got the guitars in, I did some vocals, and the vocals are in the verses sung in harmony. So I had 2 vocals. I was out my mind and going crazy. I was out my mind and lost my brain. And that was all sung using this microphone here. I didn't even set up my best mic or anything like that. I was kind of writing the words down on a bit of paper and singing them directly into this mic that's by my desk. And again, just kind of added to the feel of it. It just sounded a bit rawer and rough, and I wasn't tuning things. I wasn't going through being overly analytical and stuff. I was just letting it all happen as it came out. And then at the end, well, vocally I put like a gate, compressor, EQ, different compressor again, de-esser, and a little bit of delay, and then I sent all the vocals to a group where I've got this CLA effects that's basically putting some reverb, a slap and a tape phaser over the top of it, which makes it sound a little bit more psychedelic. Whack it all together, and it sounds like this. Distortion on the mic here. Sounds alright though. I think I was struggling for a vocal there, so I just sung "Let's Add Some Delay," and then I added some delay to it. That's kind of the Space Potatoes way. It's a bit taking the piss, to be honest, but it all adds to the fun of the song. Yeah, so that's kind of how this song's put together. Now, this is the thing that I wanted to talk about, is I've written this thing called DAWHUB, which is in beta at the moment. It's going to have a lot of features to it, but at the moment it's not. So you can go to DAWHUB.com and please select a song. There's only 2 songs there at the moment, which I've put up for testing, one of which is Staying In, the song we've just been doing. If you click on Staying In, it will load, and it will load a little mixing desk within your browser. This is tested in Google Chrome and tested in Firefox. At the moment, it doesn't work on tablets, I don't think, or phones, or it's got limited functionality on tablets and phones, but it will work on desktop computers. And it allows you to basically mess around with what I've been doing in this stream. So you can solo the Hammond, although that's the only thing that's playing. Solo the drums. So online within the browser, you can actually go through and explore this song and others that I'm going to be uploading, and yeah, and you can mess around, do EQ on it. There's EQ plugins within the browser, so bypass it. So yeah, so you can basically go through the song yourself and see all the bits that make it up, which I think is really exciting. I'm going to be putting more songs up like that, and I think people will kind of hopefully appreciate the underlying features of songs a bit more if they're kind of made public and made available to them. And who needs a music video for a song when you can sit there and do your own little mix within the browser, eh? That's the plan. So go to DAWHUB.com, and that's live now, and you can have a play about with this song and one other, and I'm going to be getting more songs up there, and then hopefully getting contributions from other people, and we'll build a bit of a library for people to publish their music in kind of STEM format and allow their fans to mess around with it. So I've got some more comments. Let's go through this. Please don't play 2020 Rendezvous tonight. It's too bloody catchy, and my little brain keeps going. And my little brain keeps it going round for hours. Yes, it is very catchy, isn't it? Connor says, I know it's from a time gone by, but have you considered doing a different version of Separate Lives, also with a 90s Britpop theme? Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of me that thought I could go back to all sorts of back catalogue of bands when we were doing this and kind of rework songs, but I think there was a nice thing about just starting fresh and not allowing any old stuff in and saying we're going to do a parody from scratch and not try and bend songs that are already written into the parody format. Mike says, Monday does that the same as me. It gets in your brain. Yeah, that's great. Noel says, I don't know why I'm enjoying this, but I am. Oh, you're enjoying it because it's music, mate. It's fun. Dave's a beast. Thank you very much. Love the sloppy drum sound, Dave. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of trying to get that Danny Goffey thing. Noel says, the stuff you've written as a parody might be the best stuff you've ever written. It could well be. And I'm starting to feel that, similar to my experience as writer for the Ugly Boys. Yeah, well, that stuff was great as well. Solo the drums, Andres will love you. Yeah, he's not playing on this. This is all programmed, and Ricky's actually technically the drummer in Space Potatoes. So lovely comments there. Lovely that you're all watching along and supporting this. So yeah, I mean, that is staying in. I'll play it start to finish again one more time, but that's all the constituent parts, and then we're going to move on to Mr Jenkinson, which is a great song, which I will also get up on DAWHUB as soon as I can, along with some others. So yeah, I'm going to mute my mic again and play this song start to finish. Now I've kind of shown you all the component parts, and you can appreciate all the tempo changes and all the software instruments and all the mistakes that have and rawness that have gone into making this sound as authentic as possible. Here we go. That was staying in. Space Potatoes there. Connor says, I wish most bands would have features like DAWHUB. There's so much black metal out there that's spoiled by incomprehensible lyrics. If only you could turn the vocals off. The music is largely quite melodic, if not mildly angry. Yes, well, DAWHUB's not just going to be for people like me to put up. The idea being is that anyone, any band, any artist will be able to create their own little DAWHUB mixer and embed it in their website, or that's the aim for it, is that anyone can release music like that and allow their fans to explore their music in a different way. And yeah, it's very much work in progress, which is why I've just put a couple of songs up of mine for people to fiddle with so they can report bugs and stuff back. I'm not going to invite other bands to use it till I'm certain it all works, and I'm still writing more plugins for it. I've only got an EQ and compressor at the moment, but there'll be reverbs and delays and choruses and all sorts of stuff like that to allow people to fiddle. But yeah, that's staying in. And of course, you also go to staying in at DAWHUB and have a fiddle about. So let's load up the second song I want to do. Let me close this first. I don't want to save that. I was quite happy with it beforehand. Look at that lovely guitar on my desktop background there. Mr Jenkinson. Let's load up Mr Jenkinson. So this is a song by Chris. It's a lovely song written about our friend Trevor, who is in our documentary. He's playing a character called Trevor because that is how inventive we are. We give people such different names. He is in real life Trevor Gilligan, but in this he is Trevor Jenkinson, and this is a song called Mr Jenkinson written about him. Trying to fill in some time here while the song loads, so I might just drink my Coke. That's probably more entertaining. Yes, Emily says, I'd love you to do one of these with me for my YouTube page, please, Dave. Vocal mixing a Spud song. I'm going to go through a lot of these Spud songs. I just picked these two first because they were easy to pick. But I'm definitely going to go through the one that you've whacked backing vocals down to. And I'm also happy to do it with any others. If you sent me something to mix, Emily, I will happily have you on Zoom and we can do a live stream mixing your vocals and whatever. I'm all up for that. In fact, I did a little video yesterday where I was helping out Emily with something, and I put it up on YouTube and advertised her same day backing vocal service, which is very good. I've used it a couple of times now, and it's been very efficient and same day, so it does what it says on the tin. So yeah, that's emilylynnvocals.com. Bit of a plug there for Emily. Got to support all your friends during this this crazy time of pandemic. I want to get this and then the keyboard sound as well. So I'm not going to play too much because I don't want to get any copyright flags or anything like that. But they were the influences really behind this song. So if you hear the guitar at the beginning, you hear I'm trying to get that guitar sound out of Chris's guitar. Hopefully this will play now.
Mr Jenkinson, you're very, very clean.
Very, very clean.
But you've got a dirty mind. Life's unkind, but you're that way. Mr Jenkinson, you're working very hard.
Working very hard.
But you haven't time to think. You're on the brink of something. But I don't mind. If the people you want you were like, when you're on your own late at night. Mr Jenkinson, you're locked up in your room.
Locked up in your room.
The secrets that you keep are far too deep for everyone. Mr Jenkinson, what's in that little bag?
Whatever's in that bag.
The kinkiness you hide deep inside, we'd like to hear from you. I've often wondered if you had a girl. Would she change the makeup of your world?
So that's Mr Jenkinson there, which did play. Now I've frozen the drums. So what Chris sent me of this was his basic guitars and probably a vocal. I can't exactly remember what he sent, but he definitely sent me a guitar and a vocal to some sort of click track or basic drum beat. I don't probably have the basic drum beat anymore, but if I just solo those bits, you'll kind of hear what he sent me. Put the click on as well.
Mr. Jenkinson, you're very, very clean, but you've got a dirty mind. Life's unkind that you're that way. Mr. Jenkinson, you're working very hard, but you haven't time to think. You're on the brink of something, but I don't mind. If the people knew what you were like.
Ignore the effects because I put them on.
When you're on your own late at night.
So that's kind of what I got through from Chris, was a vocal and a guitar track. First thing I did was program up some drums to it and make sure everything's sort of banging time and stuff like that. So I got the kind of nice little floor tom in there. And again, to get rid of some of the programmedness of it, I put the shaker and tambourine over it, which I've done on pretty much every song. And it just gives it that movement. Bass, same thing. Probably a few bass players cringing at my bad bass playing there, but with the drums and everything, it kind of sounds pretty solid. So that's that, and then to get Chris's guitar sound, because I really wanted, as I said, that Blur song, sort of the Glow Alone Could Be You feel to it. So I whacked on the standard Marshall that I've been using to get all those kind of 90s Britpop sounds. But when I heard the Blur one thing I noticed is it's got this kind of like extra distortion to it that sounds to me like it's actually then being clipped on the channel strip as well, or the preamp, whatever preamp they're using. So I whacked in the NLS channel over the top and turned the drive quite a bit up. So we're actually driving it after the amp's been driving it as well. So if I turn this off, you hear it just sounds like an amp. But I put it on, and it's just got that little bit more bite to it, and I was really hearing that on the Blur set, and that's kind of coming from the channel strip distortion rather than the guitar amp distortion. And then I've got the usual kind of array of some sort of Pultec EQ, just kind of boosting some of the nasty cutting frequencies that I want, and again attenuating some of the bottom end, which is a bit rumbly. I've got my favourite CLA2A software compressor over it. It's probably driving it quite a bit. Let's look and see. Oh yeah, I'm getting like between 5 and 7 dB of gain reduction there. And then I've got this little delay here that's a ping pong, so it kind of goes left and right on the delays, which is giving it this kind of slap-backy room feel. And then what I did is I cut out other places where Chris did guitar and moved them to a different track and turned off that NLS channel just to give it a slightly different feel.
But you've got...
So when it goes to this one, you're not getting that clipping. But he sent it to me as one single guitar track, and I've kind of chopped them and put them on different guitar tracks there. So at that point, I had this. Because these guitars here that I've copied down are a little bit more washy, they're less kind of aggressive, I've brought them down a little bit in the mix, so they're not as prominent, if you see what I mean. They're kind of just padding the background rather than being really up front and driving it like the others were. Then, of course, I added some guitars of my own. So I went full on Graham Coxon and went for the old vibrato pedal. And then a bit of tremolo. And then in the chorus, I brought the tremolo on a different track as well with a lot more reverb. So you get that. It's coming now. Hang on. Here we go. So when you get all of that together, so yeah, a couple of comments here I'm going to reply to. So Nigel Reese says, are you a PC user or Mac for your DAW? I use PCs. I've used both. I've got a Mac as well. But I use Cubase on a PC most of the time now. The processor is a Ryzen, I can't remember the exact model number, but basically it's 3.8 gigahertz and it's got 8 cores, which are 16 in hyper-threading. I've got 32 gigs of RAM. So yeah, pretty decent setup as far as that goes. Laurie says, dang dude, thank you. Very American, dang, that's such an American word, we don't use it over here. But Anne says, hi Laurie. Oh, she's not talking to me. Oh, thanks Anne. Tim, evening all. A few other comments that don't really involve me, but nice one, Rich, hello Rich, and Noel and everything. Connor says it kind of reminds me of Britain's Got Talent Volkswagen Beetle. I have no idea what you're talking about there. I don't think I've ever watched Britain's Got Talent. It's kind of... when you have to have a program telling people you have talent, you probably don't have talent. Yeah, Lorelei's on here. Yeah, Dave, love this one. Mr Jenkinson is a hit. Well, you never know. One day, maybe. So where was I with this breaking down? So that was kind of the guitars, really. Just a lot of tremolo, a little bit of a vibrato on it, a lot of reverbs and kind of making things quite spiky and nasty in places. And then I've got these just stereo sort of pan left and right, straight amp sort of Marshall sounds that... kind of pad out the guitars and sound left and right and give it some width, which is lovely. And then of course added some Hammond into it, so
really clean.
But you've got a dirty mind.
Some chords.
I
think I actually made some mistakes in this that I quite liked. I kind of hit some weird chords. I think in this next bit I made a mistake. And that was a mistake that when I listened back I went, oh, I quite like that. So that ended up staying And then the keyboard sound is from Sample Tank, which is another IK multimedia product, and they do all sorts of different synth stuff. And I basically got a mini Moog and a different lead sound and mixed them together and got this kind of synth sound.
On your own late at night. Mr Jenkinson.
Again, in modern stuff now, I'd probably try and kind of time correct some of that, or I'd try and sort of play it and then move the MIDI notes about. But actually, I've kind of left it as I played it, which is, you know, not fantastic. I'm not the world's best keyboard player at all. But again, it adds to the raw feel of it and the slight parody feeling. I don't want to be tuning stuff and correcting stuff too much. This is meant to be a parody. And actually, it's given me a lesson because it's making it sound more real and more fun in some ways. Maybe over the last few years, I've been kind of trying to make everything a bit too perfect. So let's move on to the vocals. I've got Chris's main vocal here, which he sent me, that he recorded into a mic very similar to my handheld mic at home. I think his is a Sennheiser mic or something he recorded in.
Jenkinson,
So a bit of
you're
EQ,
very, very clean.
bit of simple EQ on it that I whacked in on his vocal, and then I've used 1176 clone, the Bluey version.
But you've got a dirty mind, life's unkind, that you're that way.
Nice bit of heavy compression going on there. And then I've got the CLA vocals effects, which I think only used on here because Chris had already put them on, so that's some more compression. Chris had already put this on when he sent it to me, so I've just kind of kept it, and it sounded nice and worked with the song. Bit of slap and everything. And then in the chorus, when we get to the chorus, there's a whole group of vocals where all the vocals get sent. In the chorus, I turn on this thing called a Vocal Doubler, which is actually a free plugin. You can get this plugin for free. It's really good at just sort of doing what it says, making a vocal sound like it's been doubled. So you can see it automates there and the effect turns up.
I don't mind if the people knew what you were like.
So ignore the reverb at the moment.
When you're on your own late at night.
So that's giving like an artificial double. I've gone a little bit over the top with it. And then I've also put in there another free plugin, which is amazing. Everyone who does music production should have the Valhalla Supermassive, because the options on here with delays and reverbs and quirky effects are just unbelievable. So that's kind of how I got the chorus to lift at that point, is I then bring in the Valhalla Supermassive and the doubling.
Something, but I don't mind if the people knew what you were like. When you're on your own late at night.
So you can hear, I mean, that's just got some real quirky sounds. Again, I bring that in through automation. You can see the automations here where it sends to those at different points in the song. So, and then I added in a couple of tracks of my backing vocals, which are probably hideously out of tune when you listen on your own, but
Of something, but I don't mind.
I'm trying to sound like Graham Coxon when he does those little, he does his kind of his backing vocals that kind of sound like this, where he's not really pushing the vocal and it's halfway between a falsetto and a full voice.
If the people knew what you were like. When you're on your own and late at night. When you're on your own and late at night.
So that's kind of how the vocals went down, just 3 tracks of vocals, and then I did a little answer here because I was actually going to sing an answer, but then I just said it and it sounded funnier, so it sounded more like some of those sort of early, those sort of Small Faces type tracks.
Jenkinson, you're very, very clean.
Very, very clean.
Got a dirty mind, life's unkind, and you're that way. You're working very hard.
Working very hard.
Time to think you're on the...
And this one here, again, CLA vocals, massive amount of stereo on that, whatever this particular setting does to make it go wide. Again, wasn't overthinking it, just whacked something on and it sounded good. All the same effects that were on Chris's vocals, the 76. And then finally, we brought in Trev, because this whole song's about Trev. And Trev is known, if you know Trev, for having, making some odd noises here or there. So I got some odd noises that he sent Ricky at some point, and Ricky had sent them to me, and I got them in the computer and kind of whacked them in the background a bit. So you can hear this.
I'll say that. What you doing?
So that's a bit of Trev. There's another bit here where he makes this kind of noise where he goes like that with his lips that I can't do very well. But there you go. And they kind of ended up in the background of this kind of middle 8 bit.
Mr Jenkinson, Mr Jenkinson, we only want to know what you get up to. Mr Jenkinson.
The thing that I always felt about Blur with some of those keyboard lines, both on the piano and like on synths, is it always felt like Damon had spent too much time in his youth playing Rhapsody in Blue, where you kind of get those kind of plays between the minor and major third and stuff like that. So every time I'm trying to put a synth line down that sounds like Damon, I'm kind of thinking, what would I be doing with if I was trying to play Rhapsody in Blue over the top of a pop tune? Right, let's have a look at some comments here. Noel says, that's not a mistake, Dave. That's musical insight. Your fingers knew more than your brain. Well, that's very possible. A lot of things know more than my brain, to be fair. Rebecca Goodwill says, it's perfect for its purpose. Donna, hello, you're waving. Hello, Donna. Noel says, that's funny. I can't remember what was funny, because I don't know when you said that, but maybe Trevor's noises. And Gage saying, that's so good. Lorelei says, he's got the Devo vibe. Neil says, not cooking ribs tonight. No, I'm not cooking ribs tonight. Nice voicing on that mistake. Yes, I thought it was a nice voicing. Again, mistakes actually sometimes make music more than the planning. So yeah, that's Mr Jenkinson. There's kind of quite a bit going on there. There's guitars and stuff, and this started out as something that Chris wrote and sent to me with a guitar track and a vocal line, and I've kind of produced it and expanded it out. And we're both really pleased with it. This is one of my favourite songs on the Best of Space Potatoes, which you can pre-order by going to 2020rendezvous.com and pre-ordering it. So please do. There's vinyls available as well. The vinyl's going to be a 12-track best of, and then the download is a best of and the rest of the best of with another 6 bonus tracks. There'll be 18 in total. The doubling vocals remind me a bit of Suede, says Connor. Yeah. I mean, all of the bands were doing that stuff at the time. You know, it's just one of those techniques people used, like artificial double tracking and whatever. And a lot of the things as well, I'd say, is I'm not using the most expensive reverbs on a lot of this, because the sound I'm going for is trying to emulate a 90s sound. A lot of studios back then, a lot of recordings back then were using like sort of Alesis MIDI verbs and Alesis quadriverbs as their reverb. So, I mean, using the Sunset Sound Studio by IK or some of the impulse response stuff by Waves or whatever would just, again, make it sound too nice. This is a real exercise in just whacking together a demo and polishing it and making it sound as vibey as possible and not worrying too much about all the other little bits and pieces. So I'm going to play the whole song through, start to finish again, mute my mic. So now you've had a bit of a breakdown, you can listen again with fresh ears and hear all the little bits and pieces. And yeah, please leave me more of your comments.
I'll say that. What you doing?
Mr Jenkinson, you're very, very clean.
Very, very clean.
But you've got a dirty mind. Life's unkind and you're that way. Mr Jenkinson, you're working very hard.
Working very hard.
But you haven't time to think. You're on the brink of something. But I don't mind. If the people knew what you were like, when you're on your own late at night. Mr Jenkinson, you're locked up in your room.
Locked up in your room.
The secrets that you keep are far too deep for everyone. Mr Jenkinson, what's in that little bag?
Whatever's in that bag.
The kinkiness you hide deep inside, we like to hear from you. I've often wondered if you had a girl, would she change the makeup of your world? Mr Jenkinson, Mr Jenkinson, we only want to know what you get up to. Mr Jenkinson, you're very, very clean.
Very, very clean.
But you've got a dirty mind. I don't mind that you're that way inside.
There it is, Mr Jenkinson. I'll be getting that up on DAWHUB as well, along with other tunes, so you can have a play about. Please pre-order the album in whatever format and help support our documentary that we're making. You can pre-order that at 2020rendezvous.com. The link is down... no, that's the wrong way. There. No, there. Down. Yeah, you get the idea. Hang on, I'm going to move my window and just do that. It's down there. Yeah, that's the link to buy 2020, to buy the album, either on vinyl or a download. If you buy the vinyl, you get the download as well. We are so close to finishing it, and it will be out very, very soon. So thanks for watching this stream. It's been a pleasure. Please share, please like, please go over to my YouTube channel and watch it again there later if you want to catch up on any of it. I'll be uploading it later. And yeah, see you again soon. Bye.